panel the discussion, an objective and impartial view of the issues of interest to you. Nationbeat is on now.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Nationbeat, a production of the Government Information Service and the National Television Network. I am your host today, Kendall Eugene, and with me I have three guests representing the St. Lucia Red Cross. Today our discussion will focus around the launch of the Conflict Resolution Legal Committee of the St. Lucia Red Cross, among a few other activities that are planned. For example, the Community Open Day. With me, I have Ms. Anne-Marie Joseph, Chair of Conflict Resolution and Legal Committee. We have the Communications Manager / Officer, so many, Ms. Marva O'Chillian, and the President of the St. Lucia Red Cross, Mr. Herbert Pierre. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Let's start with Mr. President. If you could give us a brief insight or an overview of the St. Lucia Red Cross and what exactly it entails.
St. Lucia Red Cross in itself, born in 1949, has done quite a bit in this island, and we continue to support and help the people in this country. Mm-hmm. Nonetheless, having said that, over the years we have noticed some dramatic changes, especially in our country, and to be relevant for the future, we have to start thinking about it now. So through our youth programs, etc., we are moving into a new dimension. We are covering grounds we have never gone into before. And I'm happy to say that when Anne-Marie mentioned the fact that we can think about helping persons legally, out of that was born the fact that we need such a committee, and hence the reason we are here. But most of it is the Red Cross planning for the future. If you look around you, you have things like migration. You have things like people, capturing or kidnapping children as sex workers and all of this.
Human trafficking.
Human trafficking, So all of that, we have to understand the changes. And we recognize also technology is part and parcel of the whole thing. Mm-hmm. So the Red Cross itself has become digitalized, both locally and otherwise, in an effort to combat, serve, and to help others. Saving lives is our business. So in whatever way we can do it, prevent conflict, and which, you have even families kill each other and that type of thing over what we make, especially land, etc.
Yes.
So we're starting to think, why not have something that they can come to resolve their problems, Mm-hmm. Beyond that also, there are certain persons who have specific problems, but they don't know where to go, who to speak with. I was speaking to a lawyer myself, and I said to him, look, man, why do you all go out, to try and save persons who have murdered somebody? And he changed my outlook on a number of things when he says to me, when a man is in front of me, I believe he only have one life, and I have to do the best to save his life. Mm-hmm. And I think the lawyers coming with us and closer to people, the humanitarian aspect, people could look at them as persons who really want to help people, because persons have a different perception, just like possibly I had myself.
Yes.
So it has become extremely important, this committee, and we at the Red Cross is giving it all our support. Beyond this, one is thinking beyond our shores. Mm-hmm. I've already mentioned this to certain president friends of mine, and one wants to see if it's going to work here. Once it works, we are going to run it Caribbean-wise, and this is one of the focus. So this is like a pilot project.
Oh, that's my question. St. Lucia will be the pilot project for...
Yes, developed by the local society, of course, with Anne-Marie's advice.
People would normally associate the Red Cross with just saving lives, CPR, the little kit you get probably when you join Girl Guides or Boy Scouts, even the Cadet Corps. Mm-hmm. But what you're saying is there's so much more to the Red Cross.
Oh, there's so much more. We do quite a bit. We don't beat our chest. For example, we run an ambulance service. Mm-hmm. We do a number of things that the youth program, we support the health services. We do disaster preparedness and response management. We do quite a bit in this country, quite a bit.
When you think of the Red Cross, what made you want to become a member? And what do you think other people would look forward to if they were to become a member of the Red Cross?
I became a member of the Red Cross. I don't know if it's by accident or otherwise. I used to be attempting to become a master guide in those days. And we had to be first aid certified. And the Red Cross was in Georgia Fifth Park at the time. So I went there for training as a first aider. And after having spoken to me, I decided, okay, I wanted to be part and parcel of it. And I joined, then the disaster preparedness and Hurricane Alden impacted it. I wasn't working at the Red Cross. At that time, what we had is beneath my house, they established a feeding post. And from Hurricane Allen, I decided, you know what? Let me move in that direction. Because really and truly, I was medically inclined. I don't know how many lives I have saved ever since I joined the Red Cross. So all of that has gone out of the door.
Now, we learned from you just a while ago that conflict resolution now will be playing an integral part of the Red Cross. We have a lot of people who seem to get angry very quickly, right? And the choice, or rather the solution they have, is to either eliminate the enemy or find a way to eliminate the enemy. There is no more talking about it. Something I normally ask them to do, box it out. All right, get into a sport.
Invent your feelings.
Vent in a different way. But we clearly have an issue with proper conflict resolution, and that's what we were trying to bring here with this pilot program.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that we have recognized, and any native of this country would say, well, especially my age, I didn't know that. I mean, as a young boy, we fought a lot. We did a lot of foolishness of ourselves, but we didn't do certain things at all. But now we are seeing and you're hearing people die over this. People kill somebody, stab somebody because they didn't give them a ride. A week before last, I lost a friend where a girl just stabbed him over nonsense. So we must understand that people need to be spoken to be taught how. And the other thing, I don't think people go to church like they used to and have the fear of God in them, so something that will keep them. I think that has gone, so now we have to physically try to do something, reach them where they are.
Looking at the community day that is coming up on August 11th, how will that now tie into the conflict resolution and legal committee that is being planned for the Red Cross?
Well, that's the question I think Anne-Marie is best positioned to answer, in that she brought the whole thing together, and we are supporting it, and I don't want to preempt her because that would be part and parcel of what she's going to say. But definitely we want to bring a wide spectrum of people from the different walks of life to understand what we are doing.
All right. Well, Anne-Marie, we have already gotten a brief introduction. You're the legal chair? Or just the chair?
I am the chair of the committee.
Okay.
I am legal and non-legal at the same time. I'm a mediator, arbitrator, I'm also a lawyer. So we're spanning the full range of conflict resolution. Not just me, we have several colleagues, all from different spheres of life, a teacher, police officer, social worker. They're all trained mediators. And that's what this is about, resolving conflict in the community. They're all trained by the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. We're now bringing that skill into the Red Cross to form this legal and conflict resolution. So it's a double-edged sword because people have problems, they don't know how to resolve them, and unless you happen to be in the court system, that is when you get it offered. So now, it's part of our humanitarian.
Yes.
And we have lawyers in our group. The lawyers are outreaching to the community as well to give that advice.
I was reading a few weeks ago a court document on an incident that occurred, and it felt like that could have been avoided if the two gentlemen just spoke about what the problem was. Okay? Somebody spilled a drink on another individual, and it escalated from there. In your experience, do you believe that individuals can actually speak about their problems, their issues, and come to an amicable resolve?
Absolutely. Most of the conflict is about communication breakdown. It's what they call the beach ball effect. Two people see something, and it's about meeting somewhere in the middle. So we're having impartial third parties to have a look so people can see the other side, and they make the decision, they make the deal. But they have somebody there who can guide them.
Okay.
So it's also a cultural shift in conflict resolution. Instead of picking up a knife or a fist, it's about talking. That is what it is. And so we're going to impact not only the community, families,
Right.
where a lot of conflict, the church has conflict, all realms of society. So I'm very excited about this new initiative. We're bringing professional, qualified mediators who can work with the Red Cross to help.
The open day is scheduled for August 11th, and I'm seeing here that it will be taking place at the Human Resource Center, and it's going to offer a range of services. Can anybody expound on, the services that and activities that one can expect on that day?
The event is supposed to start at 2, and it's supposed to bring together service agencies as well as volunteers of the Red Cross and the Conflict and Legal Resolution Committee, so that on that day we offer our services for free to the community.
Okay.
But it will also afford us an opportunity to network, to meet other persons within the Grizzly community and outside of the Grizzly community. So, for example, we would have included agencies like the NIC, where they can come in to speak to persons with regards to retirement planning, etc. So it's not just first aid anymore, but we're offering them opportunities to learn and engage more with the community, that we can develop and learn other facets and other social skills and soft skills that can help to reduce some of the issues and the conflicts that we may have, because sometimes some of the challenges are faced because of the stress associated with some of these issues, and then they blow up and they grow out. So we're bringing together different agencies. We have free consultations in terms of medical consultations. We have included first aid demonstrations, as I mentioned. The Conflict and Legal Resolution Committee themselves would be on board to offer some discussions, explanations to the general public as to their role and how strategies they can use within their communities. We also have our youth members, our Club 25. Club 25 is a blood donor program, and our Club 25 members would be there to do recruitments, because we do understand the challenges, again, associated when you have conflict and violence and people get injured, you need blood. So they would be there to recruit donors for the club and to encourage more persons to become blood donors. So there are different facets of the community that we're looking into, but we're hoping that when we all come together, we would have engaged that community.
Now, you mentioned about a Club 25. What exactly is Club 25? Is it a part of the Red Cross or a separate group?
Club 25 is a youth initiative within the Red Cross. Globally, it was a strategy to encourage young persons to become blood donors between the ages of 17 to 25. The idea is that they make at least 2 blood donations a year. This is on the heels of the fact that we understand that the blood banks themselves are stretched, and it's also them being responsible as young persons and offering their services to the community to assist with some of the disruptions you have within the blood bank. So we have reinitiated, and we have a new cadre of blood donors, and with each member making 2 blood donations a year. It's the minimum that we expect them to, 2 blood donations a year. So we would be contributing to alleviating some of the challenges with.
Excellent. Listening to you just explain all the activities that will take place, and Ms. Joseph and Mr. Pierre elaborating on conflict resolution especially being needed, my question now is, the main purpose for organizing this activity or this event, what is the main drive behind it? What do you want to see happen now? Or what is the conclusion you want to get from?
I think behavioral change will be the first factor. That's the key
Positive,
factor. You know?
positive, especially from a positive standpoint. Mr. Pierre mentioned the life of the Red Cross, but one of the things we always, as Red Cross persons, say is that the Red Cross was born in a battlefield. And so conflict is not something we're new to, but we also have a mandate to promote a culture of peace and a culture of nonviolence. So with all our efforts, we're looking to helping to support a social issue that exists in our country. We cannot go away from the fact that we have a culture that's growing, where the easiest way to resolve an issue is to use a violent method. And so all of this is our contribution to help to curb, to make St. Lucia a better place, to meet our mandate of promoting peace, especially amongst our young people, but also understanding that as long as we have conflict within our communities, violence erupting, it also affects our work as humanitarian workers. We have been, in some cases, the victims of the violence themselves, and it's about making St. Lucia a safer place for all of us.
Mr. Biot, you mentioned behavioral change. How difficult do you think it would be to achieve behavioral change in anyone?
These things cannot be achieved overnight. We used to say it takes a whole village to raise a child, and that still exists today. But the fact is, what do? Do you roll and die and say, let's forget it, we can never make a change? So the effort must be made. Somebody has to take up the mantle to ensure that something is being done about this. The other thing, the Red Cross, we have crossed boundaries, and we have groups which is say Friends of the Red Cross. We have partners who bring certain things to the table. I'm sorry some of our partners are not here this afternoon, that they could have explained a little more. But we are doing much more than one really things. But I really want us to focus this afternoon on this new idea. And I think there are many questions you can ask Anne-Marie. And ones that begin... put it right there. So
Anne-Marie, I do want to
once that happen, we can get it, clear-cut explanations that we need. Because she's talking about mediation and all the rest of it. And do we have that kind of culture? Do we understand communication or lack thereof or poor? It creates the problems and certain things. And I think these are things that we need to bring to the fore and let people know all of this. It is instructive, and the focus should be, we are trying to save lives. And in so doing, we may have to change behaviors if we want to secure life. And this is the principal thing behind it.
Okay. Well, we'll take a quick break, and when we return, the hot seat is yours. This is Nationbeat, a production of the Government Information Service and the National Television Network. We are here today discussing the launch of the Conflict Resolution Legal Committee of the St. Lucia Red Cross. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment.
Suicidal thoughts, like other mental health challenges, can affect anyone. It can be you, your colleague, family member, or neighbor. Everyone has a role to play in preventing suicide. Know the warning signs. If you or someone you know is in crisis or emotional distress, call the suicide hotline at 203. Remember, help is available. This is a message from the Employee Assistance Program, Department of the Public Service. Contact us at 468-2269 or 468-2260.
Welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, a brand new committee will be a part of the St. Lucia Red Cross. We're talking about today, discussing the launch of the Conflict Resolution Legal Committee. With us is, of course, Ms. Anne-Marie Joseph, the chair of the Conflict and Resolution Legal Committee. Conflict Resolution and the Legal Committee. Is that the correct
We need a more sexy name, don't you think? It's a bit long.
Well,
But
the CCL.
thank you.
Or the CCLC. Well, I really want to know, with the change of time, we are now in a heavily technologically inclined era. How can this committee now combat the activities that occur online? Because when we talk about individuals being angry, a lot of them are angry in isolation. And that is where it's most dangerous for me.
Right.
So we go online, we go on Facebook, we go on X, we go on Instagram, and we see some of that anger is out there. How can the committee now take charge of that, especially if a Club 25, and that is all compromising young people, the youth, they utilize that heavily. So let's talk about this committee and how it will tackle some of those issues.
It's a big job to start with, and we're not going to change mountains overnight. We have to live within a time frame. But one thing, a lot of it is education, people understanding what is conflict, how it's caused, and having that tool that they can reach out to get things resolved. You talk about online and youth. There's a culture of bullying online that we do see in schools. So our outreach is going to tackle all areas of the community. So families, we're going to be looking at the youth. We're going to be targeting members of the church community. It's going to be an open forum, and by education, you can then work on giving people the basics of what this is, conflict resolution. We also want to be able to reach out to people far away. We're going to have a service at the main office, but we're going to be available online for sessions. So it's not a case that you cannot get to us via the head cross office. So that's one way of reaching out to the community. Many of us are advocates. Many of us are part of the Bar Association. So we have a role there. And we can also share with our colleagues as an outreach. As I said, we have a social worker, we have a police officer, we have people who are in the community. So they can also share the message of what we're trying to do. So it's not an easy task, but once you offer something for free, you tend to get a bit more education, particularly when it comes to legal advisory. We're not going to be able to solve everything overnight in a half hour, but we can at least give people a way to solve it themselves or give them solutions. And that's also conflict resolution.
Now, we have individuals who would be very reluctant to owning up or taking accountability. Some may not think that they have a problem and they need to get it not checked, but they need to get help for that issue. And the biggest issue for them is confidentiality.
Yes.
How do you approach individuals who want to come to you but are afraid that they are ridiculed by their friends, for example, if they heard that they're speaking to someone?
As professionals, every single member of the committee is involved in a confidentiality expectation. I'm an attorney. We have a social worker. We have police officers. We have people who understand what confidentiality is about. The only thing that you need to do is ring the headquarters and ask for an appointment. We will reach out to you. There is no record. It is a service that it's like going into a confession box with a priest. But remember, we're trying to resolve conflict between people. So while we can take on board individual issues, this open day has a sphere of people there to help. We have a doctor, we have a fitness instructor, we have a range of people who can deal with individual concerns, and people don't have to pay. Did you hear that? People don't have to pay. So it just starts. And one of the challenges that people think, I have to pay for something. That's why they don't address their problem. You'd agree?
I agree,
Money
especially with with mediation. When people hear about, okay, I have to speak to someone, immediately they think, how much will that cost me?
Right. So we are all volunteers. we're all going to be members of the Red Cross. I'm a member of the Red Cross. So I'm just giving back to the community. This is what this is about. And lawyers do give back to the community. I have to say that. We do have a bar outreach committee, and this is what we do to give back as well.
Excellent, excellent. With the Conflict Resolution and Legal Committee, the CRLC, will individuals outside of the bar be trained to become mediators in the future? Is that a plan? Is that a goal?
People outside the bar?
Yeah, like members of the Red Cross. Maybe
Why not? The world's your oyster. Yeah. In the committee, we have 7 members. Half of them are not lawyers. Mediation is not something that's limited to being an attorney. Many of us do it, but there are lots of other professions who make very good mediators. Conflict resolution. Many people see mediation when it's time to go to court, and the court would say, sorry, you have to go and sit down and talk about it. That's the first time they see a mediator, but we want to get to them before it ever gets to that stage. And it's not only about the criminal, there's also conflict in terms of civil matters. Neighbors disputing, you know, the orange tree is affecting my car. You know, there are lots of things that are civil in nature, a lot of family issues. So yeah, we'll be tackling a lot of, and we will feed back to the Red Cross. We are going to have to report back. We're going to have to make suggestions, but it is confidential. But we'd like you to become a Red Cross member as well. Because you're yes, everybody that comes through the door, it'd be nice if they also join the fold, because they then can empower their communities.
On the open day, can we sign up to become members of the Red Cross?
Yes, there's an opportunity to sign up.
There
is an opportunity to sign up.
Okay. Now, on the open day, ma'am, let me come back to you. How will the event now help raise the awareness of the Red Cross and the mission of the Red Cross?
We have opportunities for sharing information. So outside of persons coming in to see maybe the Anne-Marie's team, for example, we would be doing some information sessions. We have brochures that we can share out with persons, and our volunteers would be the ones meeting and greeting persons so that they can share the information.
And are there any specific groups or individuals who may benefit from the event, or benefit the most from that event?
One of the items on the agenda that's going to be really interesting is that the Groseley Club 60 had, in terms of the talk of technology, the Groseley Club 60 had made a request for some assistance in teaching their members how to use the WhatsApp technology. The complaint was that if they sent out a message, the members couldn't respond or use the device properly. And so it offers an opportunity for the youth members within the Groseley Red Cross branch to work with the older folks in the community and to teach them how to use the devices. So it will be a teaching learning with the youth and the older persons in the community. This is one of the flagships that will happen on that day in particular, which I'm excited about. I'm looking forward to see how it's going. I'm also really excited to see how many young persons will actually come out and sign up to be members of the Club 25 blood donor program, because we do really want to ensure that we're meeting our mandate. We also would want to encourage persons to come to learn something or two about first aid, but to sign up for first aid, to sign up for a first aid class. There is the opportunity for persons to learn how to protect their homes in emergencies and disasters. So they can come in and get some information sessions, some one-on-one discussions, not just with the Red Cross members, but also the Groseley District Disaster Committee wants to come on board with a booth so that they can share information. So it's team effort, everybody looking forward to achieving the same goal, which is to make our community a better place.
Okay. Now, individuals hearing about the open day with Red Cross being involved, they may be inclined to think it's only about life saving, but you're saying that is not the case at all.
It's not. No.
What about a young entrepreneur from the community of Groseley that would like to attend the open day? Will there be any provisions for them?
Yes, there is provisions for that. We do have an opportunity for sessions on business planning and young entrepreneurs. It's one of our volunteers as well who is offering her knowledge and skills to the community to encourage them to learn how to start up their businesses, what they need, what they should put in place so that they can actually do their business startup. Yes, that's part of it too.
Yeah, a lot of our young entrepreneurs, they go into business but they have no idea what they should be doing. Legal assistance, for example, they don't know copyright infringement, nothing to that extent. And they just open and then they learn on the fly. And sometimes.
And it's too late.
Yeah.
And then you have a conflict.
And you need a resolution. Now, for the community, is it only open to the Groseley community, or is it open to the entire St. Lucian population?
It's open to everybody who wants to come in. It's us opening our doors so persons learn who we are and what we're offering, particularly the conflict resolution and legal committee. And it's not just for Groseley. Groseley at the time is available, it's ideally located. We're hoping as well it's an opportunity for persons to learn about the Groseley Red Cross branch, but it's open to everybody, all members of the public.
All right. Let me just go back to Ms. Joseph and Mr. P. I'll come to you in a bit. Ms. Joseph, I read in an article one time that the biggest hindrance to resolving any sort of conflict is communication. What say you to that? Would you agree or disagree?
That was my first point earlier on. It's the beach ball effect. Two people not understanding, and it's good to talk. And that's what we don't do. We raise our hands rather than talk. So I do agree that communication is the key, but sometimes people are just not seeing eye to eye. So our job is to get them together so that they can come up with a solution themselves. We give them options, or they look to options, and bringing them closer together. So communication, and it may just take a third person to sit there as an independent third party, not attached to the matter, so that they can see outside that beach ball.
Okay. You also mentioned education, which is so important. When you say education, are you speaking specifically about our system within the school area, or wholeheartedly from the homes, from the communities, even the groups that they're a part of, teaching their members on how to, one, speak to each other, talk things out, and communicate a lot better?
Education, education. It goes across all spheres. We have a number of people who are coming to help us. For example, we will have financial advisors there. It's about education, people not understanding basic financial advice regarding risk and insurance. The NIC was mentioned. In terms of education and the legal, people do not understand their rights. They don't understand what they need to do to solve a problem. Conflict resolution is also the same. So they're all linked to educating the public. And once you educate a few people coming to that session on the 11th, they then will spread the word. And we want to keep it going as well. So as well as the conflict resolution sessions, we hope to work with the Red Cross to produce basic information, all linked back to the theme of community empowerment.
Yeah. Mr. Pierre, with your experience, are you confident that a committee such as the Conflict Resolution and Legal would benefit the Red Cross and St. Lucia?
Of course. I mean, for example, my vocation, disaster preparedness, and I start to think about the risk reduction in everything I do. So what is the risk here? Two persons start a fight and somebody loses his life. So that for me is important. You don't just decide, okay, because we have this, or from a position of power, I can do whatever I want. If I reduce the risk, of course I can prevent the disaster. And this is what one is thinking about along those lines. So when you have expertise, and you ask a number of questions, varying questions as to who will be there, what kind of persons, and you have been told from the medical. So the risk here is that you may get sick if you don't do this, that. So you could see all around it comes back to the same thing, our focus, saving lives. And even before this committee was formed, there is the YABC, the Youth and Behavioral Change and So, which is something where from a younger age we have been teaching them how to deal with these matters. And to come to the Anne-Marie situation, bringing that to us to the fore, we recognize, hey, this can be a golden thread throughout all what we do to prevent conflict among persons.
Now, you just mentioned the YABC, and I know that there is a methodology they usually use that would help with basically highlighting or pinpointing the overall promotion of culture, the culture of peace and nonviolence. What do you speak to that, Barbara?
YABC actually is a youth-focused strategy. What it seeks to do is to empower the young persons to become leaders in their community and to seek to transform minds and attitudes and behaviors for the heart. So it's about the young persons themselves going for a process of self-awareness, checking on their own weaknesses, the levels of stress, what can tick them. So they develop that level of awareness, but they're also the ones who would be walking the walk. So you have to be the model. You have to be the person that you want to see. You have to be the change that you want to see.
Right.
So there are three pillars to that program.
Okay.
It focuses on the inner person. It focuses on community, because these young persons, after they have received the training, they need to be able to reach out to their communities, so they can go into the communities and conduct workshops. They can do drama sessions.
Like an each one teach one.
Right. So outside of learning and being a peer educator, we also encourage them, again, still building on the theme of community engagement, promoting a culture of nonviolence through community engagement. The YABC fits right into that methodology, that theme, where the young persons, they learn, they become that change, and they engage the community in the process of changing. It's a flagship strategy of the Red Cross, established since 2008, and it has been growing. We're looking to continue the growth in St. Lucia, but as Mr. Pierre mentioned earlier, and as Anne-Marie has alluded to, you're talking about change, and these are processes that are going to take a little while. And so our young persons would go through the process of training, but we're hoping that we can continue to see the growth in them, that they become, as the name says, agents of behavior change.
Okay, we'll come back and talk a little bit more of the training that they would receive. We'll take a quick break, and when we return, we have more with our guests. With us today is the president of the St. Lucia Red Cross, Mr. Hilbert Pierre. We have the communications officer, Ms. Marva Okilie, and the chair of the Conflict Resolution and Legal Committee, Ms. Anne-Marie Joseph. And we're discussing today the launch of the Conflict Resolution Legal Committee, as well as the open day that is taking place in Grosley at the Human Resource Center on August 11th. We'll come back some more. Stay with us.
Hello, OECS. Yo, OECS, this is your ocean. If I am to protect your future, we have to work together. It's the time to work together. If I am to help protect your future. Once I used to be so pure and clean, and those hills were so fresh and green. But now you see me as your dumping ground. The current situations has me choking on your pollution. Think hard about it, you will agree that really there is no you without me. Make the zero waste pledge, be responsible. Reduce your waste, recycle where possible. It's down to you, so make the commitment. Recycle for blue oceans and our betterment. Recycle OECS, green actions, blue oceans. For blue oceans and our betterment.
Welcome back. We're here this afternoon discussing the launch of the Conflict Resolution Legal Committee of the St. Lucia Red Cross. We have with us the president of the St. Lucia Red Cross, Mr. Javier Pierre, the communications manager, communications officer, Ms. Marva Okilien, and the chair of the Conflict Resolution Legal Committee, Ms. Anne-Marie Joseph. Just before the break, Marva, you were telling us about the YABC and all of the training that would be afforded to members and to go out and, of course, make a positive impact on their communities and society in general. But beyond the training, what support will be provided to the youth to fulfill that agenda?
One of the things that you would understand is that if they're going to be advocates of a culture of nonviolence, they would need a lot of support. Mm-hmm. So as adults and as facilitators within the Red Cross, we are also there to provide them some of the psychosocial support that they would need. We are there to support them in areas of guidance, like how do they engage the community, how do they go out to do their work basically. Mm-hmm. We would also be responsible to ensure they have all the necessary resources that they would need to be able to reach their goal, because you don't want to prepare them and then they don't have what it is that they need to be able to fulfill the role. So the resources, the emotional support, the psychosocial support, the guidance on how to engage the communities, the safety as well. One of the things we always promote within the Red Cross is safe access into the community. So all of these are areas of support that we would be ensuring we give them.
Excellent. August 11th is the big day.
Yes.
This is the Community Open Day.
Yes.
And we will have many guest speakers, I would believe, addressing the individuals or the many folks who will be coming in and taking in all of the activities, all of the sessions that would be afforded to them on that day. Before we delve into who will be speaking, if you have any special guest speaker, tell us the message you would like the community to receive regarding this event. What is your message to the community?
Well, there are two things. One is on Wednesday, we actually launched the committee. Mm-hmm. And that for us is the flagship for now. And then we continue with the support for the Community Service Day and as well the training of our youth as ambassador, agents of behavior change. So for us, Wednesday this week is the highlight. Mm-hmm. When we launch the committee. It's an online launch. And Anne-Marie can speak to our guest speaker and his presence and what it means to us for the event. Mm-hmm. And then we have the Community Service Day on the 11th, which is where we bring in all the community groups. And then from the 18th to the 24th, we have training for our youth volunteers where they become trained as YABC. So the committee launch has a few different facets to it so that we are really sharing with the community who we are, what we're doing, what we're aiming to do.
Excellent. Well, Anne-Marie, again, I realize I love passing you the ball.
That's part of conflict resolution.
Yeah. So who will be our esteemed guest on the launch day?
Let us focus on Wednesday, which is the launch. Mm-hmm. It is a very special occasion and you're all invited because it's online.
Yes, it
is. So everybody can have access to see who the committee is, mm-hmm. how we're going to work, and most importantly, we have a guest speaker, a very, very respected judge, Justice Francis Bell, mm-hmm. who will be talking on the theme for the committee, the theme for the Community Day, which is promoting conflict resolution for empowerment of the community. And Justice Bell was working in St. Lucia. He's now UN, United Nations Dispute Tribunal judge. Mm-hmm. He has been in the Court of Appeal, so he has a very distinguished profile. And who better to come and assist us in our understanding about conflict resolution in the community. So everybody's invited to that special event. It starts at 7 p.m. on Wednesday. And you can get the link. I believe ring in the Red Cross head office. Mm-hmm. You can ask and it can be sent to you. There is an online registration as well.
Okay.
So that is a launch when you get to find out more about the initiative.
Excellent. With that now being said, can we expect the launch to be streamed live via the Red Cross's social media pages? Is that something, an option we will have, or we have to basically get that link?
We can. We would need to finalize some technical, and we can do that as well.
Okay.
One of the requirements, though, is that the persons would have to register. Some persons would have to register to get on, but we can discuss it.
Okay, so it's imperative that registration is
It's ideal. It's the ideal.
It's for security
It's the
reasons,
ideal.
Zoom bombers, you know, that
Oh,
type of
yes,
It's the
So
ideal.
yes,
It's
we
the
have
ideal.
security is
Yeah.
part of our mission, right?
Yeah.
So starts now.
Are there any specific groups or individuals who might benefit most from the event? Would you say?
I think that this matter is something that affects everybody
Everyone.
and anybody. And generally speaking, I know we are speaking about focusing on one, we have to have a lunch, and then we have to have a first initiative, which is going to happen in Grosley. But I'm sitting here and I don't want to think that this is the first and the last. You understand? It has to be constant. We have to let people know about its availability. We have to share with them success stories, a number of things we have to do around this. It's not just a once in a lifetime thing and we fix everything. No. It will have to be ongoing all the time.
The theme promoting peaceful resolutions through community engagement. Red Cross is known for its community engagement, but what does it mean, especially to you, Mr. Pierre, as the president of the Lucia Red Cross, to ensure that we have that peaceful resolution through all communities? What does it mean to you, for you?
Let me see. My experience would be, for example, working in Haiti, and persons are in need, and I cannot reach them because of the differences. So I'd have to find what we may call the dawn of the place or thing and ask him for permission to allow me to serve people on both sides. What does that tell you? You know, there's conflict and there is need. And because of that conflict, you really cannot reach people. So many times things are, before it gets to a situation like this in my country, you hear Marvel's talking about safer access a while ago. We better start letting persons know, even within the community, you have to look and set boundaries as far as certain things are concerned, and how best do you deal with certain factors that you live with. So it's extremely important for me and for the Red Cross to understand we've got to make things better for us to work. We want to reach people. We have our fundamental principles. Humanity comes first, so we don't care who the person is, red, yellow, black, white, whatever, but we want to reach this person. And we cannot endanger volunteers' lives in seeking to help others. We need to let people understand and respect certain things. Even our emblem, which is indicative and protective. So if persons don't know these things, it in itself can create a problem. It may be why is the Red Cross serving this one and not that one, etc., etc. Right. So for me, this is extremely important. It's key. It's a key factor.
Ms. Joseph, you have a task ahead of you, and you look ready for it. But my
fighting fit. Ready.
my question would be, though, you mentioned earlier that you have members on your committee as well. Was there any selection process that you went through, or probably the Red Cross went through, in getting individuals on your committee? And if individuals would like to be a part of that committee, what would they have to do?
We're starting baby steps. So the team, they are members trained by the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. I sent out a request asking if anybody was interested in this initiative, and a few people said yes, they would be. But not everybody would be suited to humanitarian work. So the caliber of people that we have are all into volunteerism. They all understand the Red Cross mission. they're not doing it because they want to make a quick buck. And these are very important matters, because once you're a humanitarian and a conflict resolver, there's special skills. So it's not an open season for everybody at the moment. They have been specially selected by the Red Cross, and they seem happy with the team. That does not mean it cannot expand.
It will expand.
It will expand, but we're not going to take any and anybody, because of the confidentiality and the mindset that we need for people doing this type of humanitarian work.
Understood. I was told we have a video that we would like to show. Does it include members that we will see, or individuals being a part of the
members? The members are there.
Members of the committee?
Yes.
Excellent. So if we could take a look at that video right now. And we just saw members of the Conflict Resolution Legal Committee. I only saw one gentleman on there, which means there is space for me.
That's right.
Okay, just before we close off this interview, is there anything else the three of you would like to add? Just a message for our viewers and listeners as well.
Maybe I should just go first, and primarily for all what is being said is that we believe that our lovely Helen should be made safer for people. We should people should understand that the protection of life is important. Saving life is important. And we don't believe in the fact that the first thing to do is to get a weapon. We don't believe in this. I know we don't manufacture guns in St. Lucia, and we have a lot of it, and we don't even know how. But the fact remains, the gun, the knife on its own will not destroy a life. So we want to try and let people think of what you're doing. I mean, as a younger boy, they used to tell me, count 1 to 10 before you react. But as the older you get, it seems you get a shorter fuse. I don't know, but the fact remains that this is the focus. The Red Cross is trying to save lives.
Excellent. Marva?
I would really like to focus on the fact that the education of the young persons are part of the process of ensuring that we promote a culture of peace and non-violence, especially because they are the victims, they are the perpetrators, and the impact of the work of the Red Cross cannot go far if our young persons themselves are not free to be able to perform their role as humanitarians, or they feel threatened. So for me, it's ensuring the future of the Red Cross, but it's also ensuring that we live in a safer environment in our country.
Excellent, thank you. And finally, Ms. Joseph?
I would say your education is your power, and use this as an opportunity not only to learn more about various resources, but to learn about conflict resolution. And also, it's an opportunity to learn about the Red Cross and whether you want to join a fantastic organization. It needs members. You can also do some good.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we come to the end of our program for this afternoon. With me, we had the president of the St. Lucia Red Cross, Mr. Hubert Pierre, the communications officer, Ms. Marva O'Killian, and Ms. Anne-Marie Joseph. She's the chair of the Conflict Resolution Legal Committee. The open day is on the 11th of August. Of course, there will be a massive launch online. You could call the Red Cross headquarters to get your Zoom link. You could send your information to them. It is important to register so you get your official link. I want to say thank you all for joining me on Nationbeat today, and wish you all the success with the new committee.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for joining. Have a great day. Bye-bye.